Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, we have a group of people in one place trying to stop cruises. Well, the other group has now gone to federal court to try and stop them from stopping cruises. We also have an update on the stabbing incident on the Norwegian Encore in Alaska. We have, big expansion plans coming for Port Canaveral. Big expansion plans because they can't fit any more ships. And then finally, we have an issue happening in Australia and New Zealand that has a lot of people worried, as even Princess Cruise Lines, one of the favorite cruise lines in Australia, they're not sending as many ships next year. So a gentleman appeared in court in front of a judge. They were, the lawyers were on the phone, etc., he has a public defender on the stabbing incident. Remember, he was seen trying to lower a lifeboat, stopped by staff, brought down to medical for observation, then attacked a security guard and a male nurse, broke out of that into another area where a 75-year-old woman was there being treated for an illness and proceeded to stab her repeatedly with one of the scissors, from medical scissors in the area. Two other security guards stopped him and subdued him. They also got stabbed. And now some reports are coming out saying the judge itself said this entire incident was shocking and completely unprovoked. From all accounts, that's, they weren't doing anything. He's the one who was the aggressor in every situation. They also stated that the 75-year-old woman, while not having life-threatening injuries, that had the two security guards not been there and stopped him, she could have easily died because he was repeatedly stabbing her, and it was only them jumping on him that stopped him from continuing to stab her. Scary, scary stuff. Immediately, mental capacity has been brought up. They've also been in touch with South African legal officials. They've double-checked to make sure that he had no past criminal record. As far as they can tell, that's the case. No history of mental illness from what they can see so far. It's really a puzzling situation, but the judge has come out also and said, we can't release this person. I don't think we can release this person he's not a member of America, United States. He's not an official resident. He doesn't have a home here. He doesn't have friends here. We can't release him on his own recognizance or on bail because he's also proven that he might be a danger to the public as well. You think? Don't let him out. Figure out what's wrong. Put him in a hospital if you have to. But definitely don't just let him out on his own. That would be like craziness as far as I'm concerned. But we'll have to carry on and see what happens in the future. Speaking of being in court, well, we have another group of people that are trying to stop what's going on in Bar Harbor again. And these are the Association to Protect and Preserve Local Livelihoods, or APPLL. They filed a motion in federal court to have an injunction to stop last court thing that happened where the town was granted the limit on 1,000 passengers from taking place until their appeal is heard. So they're saying they cannot make any decisions or do anything until the appeal is heard. We'll see if the federal judge buys that and buys into it, or if they just say, nope, you're going to have to go through the court system and see what happens. Again, courts after courts after courts after courts. I would not be surprised to see this end up in the Supreme Court, federal Supreme Court. I really wouldn't, the way things are going at this point. Also, a press conference was being held in Port Canaveral, stating that they are going ahead as quickly as possible and they're going to start building an expanded terminal on the north side. Right now, most of the traffic is on the south side of that terminal, and they say that basically all of their terminals right now are filled to capacity. They cannot take in any more ships. In fact, they are turning away business right now. They are turning away cruise ships because they don't have enough space. So they say this is absolutely urgent and necessary to get those areas, a new terminal built as quickly and as fast as possible. Also, building it on the north side will allow workers to be able to build it faster because it's much less busy on that side than on the south side. Hopefully that's true for the people who are looking to get this terminal built. But yeah, all 6 of their terminals are completely full. And they say Miami's full, Fort Lauderdale's full, and as far as Jacksonville is concerned and Tampa, they're just too small of terminals to bring in any kind of larger ships. So they're full. And they're going, well, crazy, right? We better build another terminal. We have the space, we have the location, and it's also one of the premier tourist destinations in the world is Orlando area, Florida. What can be better than having all the attractions there and one of the largest cruise terminals in the world? So they're really looking to expand as fast as possible, and they said, we're getting started now, and we may even open as early as mid-2026. That's very quick to build a new terminal, get it all dug out. Don't forget they got to, clear out enough space water-wise and for the ships to get in, etc. It's a lot of work. We'll see what happens with that. But if you're excited about a new terminal, there you go. I also have a very concerning story if you're from Australia, New Zealand, and you're a cruiser and you want to cruise from there, because it seems more and more cruise lines aren't going to Australia despite the demand that's there. We'll talk about that in a second, but before I get there, let me just invite you to hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. If you want to keep up to date with everything going on in cruising, from where the ships are going to the bad stuff that's happening, like this crazy incident in Alaska, to new terminals coming online, to new ships coming online, to tips and tricks to make your cruise just a little bit easier and maybe a little bit less frustrating, and hopefully you'll have a good time and enjoy yourself in the meantime. I'll try and keep it as lighthearted as I can, but sometimes the stories are just those stories I can't make very lighthearted. And again, it really does help the channel out, and I really do appreciate it. Okay, let's talk about Australia. One of the big stories that just came out is that Princess Cruises, one of the favorite cruise lines in Australia, they're cutting back. They are cutting back on the amount of ships going for the 2025-2026 season. Last year, Princess had 4 ships sailing in Australia during the season. They had the Majestic, the Royal, the Grand, and the Coral Princess. Total of close to 12,000 berths for passengers. In the 2025 season, they will only have the Discovery and the Crown Princess, which only holds about 6,700, which is about a 40-some% drop in capacity. And they're moving the ships to other locations. Even though they're bringing on the brand new Sun Princess and the brand new Star Princess next year, they're still putting less ships there. In fact, in 2025, they're going to be bringing 5 ships to Europe, which is the most they've ever done as well. So it does seem that Princess is moving their fleet to other locations, but so are other people. Cunard has announced that they won't be home porting in Australia. Virgin has announced they won't be home porting in Australia. Even Royal Caribbean has cut back the amount of ships they're sending to New Zealand and Australia as well. And it's becoming a very bad trend if you're a cruiser sailing from Australia. Maybe they have to look at how to attract more people, maybe finding a way to work with the airlines to offer some discounts on flights so passengers don't spend more than the cruise to get to the cruise. It's becoming a very tough time to sell cruises to North America to Australia. In fact, it's much cheaper to find a repositioning cruise heading to Australia and then heading back to Europe and then fly back from Europe than it is just to fly to Australia alone. Kind of crazy the way things are working, but it is a troubling trend, and if your livelihood is in Australia relying on cruise ships, this is definitely not a good sign. Let me know what you guys think. Is that kind of weird that the demand is really, really high in Australia, but they're cutting back the ships? And it's not just one cruise line, it's multiple cruise lines. Let me know in the comments down below, and I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world? Hit that subscribe button. Until next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.